How do you deal with this present reality in India where Hindutva as a paradigm is dominating? And the core argument that they produce is that in the name of secularism, what happened was secularization of the state in opposition to Hinduism and Indic culture, Indic cultural civilization as a foundational bed to it. So, in a sense, for them, secularism, secularization, anti Hindu behavior, constitutional colonialism is an embedded reality coming from both the secular left liberal and the Muslim other who has historically ruled. How do we internalize, this present context, and how do we respond to that?
I think that what happened in Shaheen Bagh was actually making the right demands. So I think what the Shaheen Bagh protesters, it's not just Shaheen Bagh, this was spread to every small town virtually in the country, were very impressive. They were making the right demands. I think it's a great, great shared tragedy, in fact, that it came to an end partly because of COVID, but the government also just rode the storm. They managed to. But I think what those young people and Muslims and Muslim women and so on were protesting were absolutely right. They were appealing to constitutional principles, which are part of our constitution. The fact is that you can't say it's a colonial political doctrine and state institution because, after all, it arose naturally in Europe to repair a certain damage. That damage has occurred here in the last 50 years. So
it's exactly the kind of damage that we...
Exactly. So, if it arose naturally to repair a certain damage, it has application now because that damage has occurred. So that's a very important thing to stress. And I believe the Shaheen Bagh protesters were stressing that. They were saying, look, we have a constitution here which gives geographical priority to these principles. You can't just, treat it, say because of your religion, you're going to treat a particular community in this way. And what is interesting to me about those protests was that they appealed to, if you looked at the posters and what was happening in the actual jouissance of their protest, it was really appealing to a very multicultural, sort of unself-conscious pluralist past. And they're appealing to Kabir, they're appealing to all sorts of things which are part of this unself-conscious pluralism of the past, while the appeal was for abstract constitutional principles of that kind. So in that sense, I think what was happening in Shaheen Bagh was an extremely interesting mix of this unself-conscious pluralism that Gandhi said never demanded, combined with secularist constitutional principles. So the means they had for protest, the posters, that was full of this cultural pluralist past that they were tapping while arguing for something very abstract. Nobody had done that before. We should really try and understand. Nobody had done that before. Ambedkar didn't do it. He was just a constitutionalist. And Jawaharlal had something like that idea in Discovery of India, but Jawaharlal, when he came into power, was not. Gandhi stressed the one, but Gandhi never believed in constitutional principles, etc. So that was not his conception of governance. This liberal form of his was much more participatory democracy. He had ideas of an unviolent state, so it was not going to merit any kind of liberalism. So nobody had done this combination before. Gandhi on the one side had only stressed the constitutional pluralism and the modern state that Nehruvian, after independence, was adopted was the abstract constitutional principle. This combination was a very remarkable thing that these young people managed to achieve, and I think that's very well worth studying, that combination of